We should talk about how you can.
Good morning, everyone.
Protect
We are
yourself.
Banana Bites, and our team is comprised of Alex McNeil and myself, Dean Mazur. Our client is Dr. David Rosado, who is a new lecturer here at the Otago Polytechnic. Apparently, every way to interface with the computer is physical. We tend to use keyboards, mice, and touchscreens to do so. This poses a giant problem for people in situations where they are unable to use their hands. This leaves people with certain disabilities unable to use computers at all, and people in professions that require the full attention of their hands, unable to easily access computers that could otherwise aid them in their jobs. The three main tools that are becoming viable for hands-free interfaces options for computers are eye tracking, voice recognition, and facial recognition. In the past years, Dr. Rosado has been researching eye tracking and trying to find ways to make it a viable interface for a computer. He has researched controlling a computer by using eye gestures, using eye tracking in conjunction with hand shaking, and as part of his research, he has tasked us with integrating eye tracking with voice recognition to create a system that allows a user to look at an item on a screen and use their voice to give commands. The project aims to fix some of the imperfections of some of the systems when used on their own. For example, eye tracking is not easy to give commands with, and voice commands are difficult to give context to the actions you're trying to make. The system will be used by Dr. Rosado to create further research material in the scientific field.
Now, there are already existing tools that can be used to develop the system. There are already speech recognition tools, and we are looking at using one of the following. So we're looking at Google Speech API at the moment, Microsoft Speech Recognition, and Dragon Naturally Speaking. At the moment, we're leaning towards Google Speech API because it's free and it's sort of known to be quite reliable. There are also a few different tools we can use to get the eye tracking data. So we have been researching a few. We've had a look at Tobii IX, Pupil, and Gaze Point. We're going with Tobii IX at the moment due to it being affordable and non-invasive to users, and also there's a lot of documentation on using it. The project presents quite a few risks, and they will need to be managed in order to complete the project successfully. These are distance communication with the client. Due to our client currently being in Australia until April, we need to ensure we keep up constant communication with them. This is very important in the early phase of the project. This will ensure that there is no miscommunications in the defining elements of the project. Lack of knowledge in human interface design. Due to Daniel and I both not having much knowledge in designing good interfaces, we need to ensure that we consult with people that can advise us in this area. Multiple consultants. As you can imagine, this system will be very useful to a vast variety of people, and to help explore some of these situations, we plan to bring on some consultants in different areas. We will be aiming to develop a general system that then can be modified by these people to apply it to their problems. The two main groups of consultants we'd like to bring on are people with experience in dealing with a disability that inhibits either arms or hands. This will ensure that the system is usable for a person with a disability. And also the other group of people we want to bring on is people in positions that require the full focus of their hands. So these positions are like surgeons and pilots that will benefit from being able to use a computer as well. When working with these two different groups, we need to be very careful to make sure we don't get too focused on one of their problems, and make sure we continue to provide a general solution to the main problem that Dr. Rosado has given us. The last risk we have to manage is complex ethical considerations. Due to needing to test this system on human subjects, there are complex ethical considerations we need to make. When we get closer to the point in the project when we need to run these tests, we'll be seeking help in running the tests and creating the needed documentation that goes with running the tests. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Can you go back to your manual approach?
You mentioned you want a general solution first, rather than a specific solution. I don't know if that's going to be easy to do. I just think it might be easy to work on one thing, get it working. I don't know, you'll have to consider that, I think.
So are you talking about actually developing an API for the tools that people can write in different languages, targeting them or something?
More extendable programs. So we sort of got like a base of use cases. So David has sort of given us like a set of tasks that he wants someone to complete. So he wants someone who has little knowledge in using eye tracking and voice recognition to be able to perform basic tasks like opening something and basically moving something around the screen. Certain things like that. So we have a set amount of tasks that he wants us to meet. We'd like to build the application to be very extendable, but we won't be aiming to develop an API at this point in time. We're aiming for Windows at the moment. We still don't know what language we're looking at. We're still looking at sort of the voice recognition software we're using. That will sort of decide, but Toby OAX is very, it supports 5UC-based languages.
Doesn't things like Dragon already do most all of this? I haven't used Dragon and I've never used Dragon for everything yet. When I last did, I could say, open Word and Word would open.
Yeah.
Hold on a little bit while
Absolutely. So these systems do provide the two sides of it, but as we said in the presentation, they sort of provide one side of sort of control. So when you're talking about voice recognition, it is very hard to sort of control the computer properly. You have to say very specific commands to get to work. Where the context in this system will be based on where you're looking. So if I'm looking at Word and say open, it will open Word. It just means that it's much easier to sort of pick up on what the person's wanting to do.
All right. Thank you very much.